the PBA has got to have the weirdest draft in all of basketball,
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Do you want to explain it? You're the back office expert.
I
You want to
mean,
explain how the PBA draft works?
yeah. So basically, well, works in terms of like who gets the number one pick and all that stuff.
No, not. I mean, they do a lottery, right? They do a
Yeah,
lottery.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, actually, no, they don't. I
Do
think they
they?
have odds
I think
depending
it's just
on.
the worst record gets the number
Yeah, I
one pick,
think.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but the draft itself is really interesting. So forget about
yeah.
the order, but
Right.
just you know most about this. Go. What is the draft for like for the PBA? How does that
So
work?
basically, it's typically it's always been the best. Whoever's the best college player is most likely the number one pick. You know, and
Yep.
that's been the case in many years. Like I remember this one draft when, well, yeah, but going back to Coach Norman Ateneo, there's one draft where Rabah Al Hussaini and Nonoy Baclao went 1 and 2.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's mostly the who's the most talented, and then we want to go circle back to the late '90s when the PBA draft was rendered useless because of the direct hire.
Oh yeah,
Phil
that
Ams.
was.
Yeah,
I don't understand why they didn't make them draft people.
I know.
It essentially became a recruiting contest, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But talk about the draft process. So just comparing it to the NBA. The NBA has 2 rounds,
2 rounds. Yeah,
right?
PBA
Every
has
team
like
gets the first round pick and the second round pick they
right.
can trade it on. But PBA,
Yeah,
the PBA does it a little different. Well, a whole
right.
lot different.
Hold,
Go ahead and explain that. Explain that process.
so the PBA has multiple rounds actually. The PBA has multiple rounds, and each team, yeah, does have. Hold on 1 second. Each team does have a draft pick for each round, but and what the thing is, own back then I remember it was only the first rounders who would have like guaranteed contracts,
Yep.
and then second round, third round, fourth round, it's like if you're a if you're a sleeper, then then you get signed. But normally, um, third, second, third, fourth rounders go on the practice squad. You know, and there are also times. And I remember this. I remember this. I remember this when I used to watch the PBA draft, dating back to the days of my dad. Teams have the option to pass.
That's the weirdest part, right?
That's the weirdest part. If we have the pick, but we don't see anyone who kind of fits our team system, or we don't see anyone who's that talented, I'll pass. You know?
So that's kind of the weirdest thing about the
Yeah,
PBA draft, right? So
yeah,
so the NBA draft has 2 rounds, right? The
right.
PBA has technically the PBA draft can last forever as long as there's people on the board, right?
Yeah.
Because what
Oh,
happens
that's right.
is
Yeah, yeah, it does. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, because you essentially each team essentially unless you traded the pick obviously
Right.
each team gets to select someone in each round.
Yeah.
They can do that until they pass. The moment you
Right.
pass, you lose the ability to draft. So
Right.
there's 10 teams in the PBA right now, I believe.
Yeah.
So imagine the draft going on forever because there's let's say
Yeah.
theoretically let's say there's 100 people who applied for the draft.
Right.
In theory, everyone can be drafted because each team could just go and draft every single player.
Right.
But as we said, that ability to draft is taken away if you pass.
If you pass,
So
yeah.
you can be around 8 or something like that, something weird, and you still
Yeah.
have like one team drafting because they don't want to pass.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the weird thing with how
Right.
the PBA has set itself up because there's a lack of teams in there right now. There's only 10
Right.
as we mentioned.
Yeah.
I don't do PBA teams have roster limits like the NBA or is it the same 15?
I would say 15. Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
so-
there's 12 teams right now in the PBA.
I was at 12, right? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So there's 12 teams. So
Yeah.
again, the same thing happens. You can the draft can go on forever because each
Right.
of the 12 teams gets to pick from those 100 players.
Right.
But the thing is, where are you gonna stash those players? Let's say there's this weird stat I saw in this draft. So
Yeah.
there were 77 players selected in the
Selected.
PBA draft.
Mm,
Okay, so it's like an NFL draft, man.
yeah.
It's like the 77 players selected among those 12 teams. Okay, so again, for context, there are only 12 teams, and as a whole, they selected 77 players.
Right.
Right. The problem there is that not all of those players are gonna get signed. Apparently,
Yep.
only 41 have been signed
Have been
or
signed.
have
Yeah.
received offers. We're not even
Right.
talking about the ones that received offers and didn't sign.
Right.
Okay, there are just 41 players who at least received an offer. So the other 36 that were drafted are essentially thrown away.
Right.
But I believe there's about 90 something players who were, or 100 something players who declared for the draft,
Right.
and only 77 of them got drafted.
Wow.
All right, that to me is weird. And
Yeah.
just for discussion's sake, the most recent PBA draft went for until the 11th round.
yeah.
The last pick of the draft,
Yeah.
number 77. It was big. There was only one team that picked in the 11th round, and then they passed after. So
Yeah.
that's the weird thing to me. And do you think this is a good thing, the way the PBA draft is set up, or not?
Um. I mean, it's not good in the sense that it could go on forever, you know. But also like if you're a draft prospect, like if you don't hear your name called after the second round, you're pretty much, you're pretty much not gonna get into it, get signed. So that kind of, that kind of limits like people's, I guess options, and it also, I don't know, it's just strange how it works. I would say if I would say if it in an ideal world, right? In the NBA, draft picks are considered commodities.
Yep.
In the PBA, it's something that you have. Like you have draft picks for as long as there's players available. So I think it would be more of a GM's game if draft picks in the PBA were considered commodities, like 2 rounds. Let's say 2 rounds with like 20 picks each. So you really have in that case, you really have to know when to use your draft picks well, or if you can use draft picks as an opportunity to like um, trade for better players.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's they gotta. I think the PBA has got to clean this up. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
number
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
it's so confusing.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
number one, it's so confusing to see 11 rounds and people
Hmm.
passing.
Right.
Let's just talk about how the draft is set up.
Yeah.
That's essentially what the draft structure is like. But
Right.
look at how the draft is set up. Number one, they really have super strict requirements to get drafted.
Right.
I think you have to be at least of a certain age. They obviously don't allow high school people coming out of high school.
Right.
I think you have to be at least 19
19.
or even
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
So there's this weird requirement that you have to be an older player
Mhm.
to be eligible here,
Right.
because you so you essentially have to be at least 22 before
Mhm.
when the draft happens.
Yeah.
So if you're between 19 and 20, you have to have at least 2 years of college education,
Right.
even to be even selected. And it's weird. There's even a height floor, bro. You have to be at least 5'6" to be considered for the draft.
And no, not just this. I I think back in the day there was even a college, like a college credential requirement or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Remember
the
Marlo Aquino?
yeah,
He was supposed to be drafted earlier than '96, but the PBA wouldn't accept him because he didn't have a certain number of college credits or something. Like it's weird, you know?
It's just
Yeah,
odd. I mean, look, it's
yeah,
just. I understand that they want the players to get an education and whatnot, but
yeah,
look, being an athlete is a very limited thing, right? You only have
yeah.
a certain amount of years to do it, and
Right.
if you risk yourself staying in college too long, you risk
Hmm.
injury, you risk losing your edge, you risk a lot of things. So
Yeah,
the PBA is supposed to be the top notch professional league to give these players an avenue to play professionally, really.
yeah.
So it doesn't really make sense that you're restricting these kids to be of a certain age. Being 22 is
Hmm.
insane,
Yeah.
right? 22 in NBA is old already.
Right.
I understand you might not want to draft high school players, and that's fine.
Right.
But the requirement that you have to have at least 2 years of college
Yeah.
experience,
Yeah.
that's weird to me.
It is. Yeah.
And we talked about the multiple rounds. That's one of the weirdest things. The other thing is that the draft combine is essentially required. Everyone
Right.
has to attend it, even if you're essentially you're expecting someone like LeBron James to attend your draft combine.
Mm. Yeah.
Why would that player risk injuring himself in a scrimmage?
Exactly.
In
Yeah.
right? What if something pops during those
Yeah.
drills? What do you care?
Right.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to matter, right? You're
Yeah.
gonna draft this guy regardless. But
Right. Yeah.
yeah, and
And
then
yeah, like if it was a player, if it was a player of that stature as LeBron James coming out of high school, you don't really need the draft combine because you already know what he can do.
that doesn't matter.
You
You
know?
gotta pick
Yeah.
LeBron James first. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not gonna be an issue of is he gonna suck? Is he gonna fail?
Oh, he
No,
can't. He can't.
LeBron James is gonna be good.
Yeah, he can't run the 40-yard dash in 4 point something seconds. So we're not gonna draft. It doesn't make sense, you know.
It doesn't make sense. You're always
Yeah.
gonna draft that guy. So
Yeah.
why are you exposing these kids to injury like
Yeah.
this? All right. So another thing that's super weird with the NBA, the PBA draft is the. I don't know if your dad did this back in the day, but the way so the PBA draft, the NBA draft happens usually in a stadium, right? They
Right.
make it, they glam it up, right?
Yeah.
They put all the bells and whistles in there,
Yeah.
and then the commissioner comes out and announces the picks for everyone.
Right.
So in the case of the second and latter rounds, I think the deputy
Yeah.
commissioner does it,
Right.
but the commissioner always does it, right?
Yeah.
There's a sense of uniformity there, the way the picks are announced, the same voice is always heard.
Right.
There's a feeling of professionalism with it,
Right. Yeah.
right? This goes on for every other professional league, at least in the
Yeah.
states that I've seen, right? But in the Philippines, is weird. Did your dad do this? So the way the PBA draft picks are announced is that they go from table. So each team has a table. They do
Right.
it in a mall.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They do it in the freaking mall, bro.
They do it in a mall, man. They do the draft in a mall where people you can see people around watching. It's pretty
Dude,
weird.
I was there. I remember my dad and I were at the mall for like the '02 and '03 drafts.
So talk about
Yeah.
that experience. How do the draft picks get announced?
So it's basically, yeah, like you mentioned, each team has a table, and the general manager is the one who announces the pick. And yes, my dad has done that. He did it. I remember. I think he did it for Shell when they drafted. I don't know if they did they if they. I don't know if they drafted Jolly Escobar or something for one of those years, and I remember that my dad was the one who made the pick and announced it.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while. Jolly Escobar.
Oh, Jolly Escobar, yeah.
But yeah, that's the weird thing, right? The general manager usually announces it,
Yeah.
but they did something different this year.
Oh,
Pass the mic around. Some players were announcing the picks this year.
really?
Yeah, they just passed the
Oh,
mic around. Who wants to announce? Who wants to announce? It
Yeah.
just feels so tacky,
It feels very tacky.
right? It's like,
yeah,
why are these people doing this? No, the commissioner
Yeah.
has to be the one doing this just to make it feel professional. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird, right?
right.
Okay, so another thing that's weird here is it's probably one of the weirdest things that I've seen, and this is again, this is a byproduct of how the PBA is run, really. So,
Right.
I don't think we've seen a number one pick get traded. Oh, yes, we did. Right.
Mm.
Oh, no. So,
Oh yeah,
we
yeah,
did.
we have well
Chris
teams.
Webber
Yeah.
was traded for Penny Hardaway. Right, right, right. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Weber.
Chris
Yeah.
Webber was traded for Penny Hardaway draft night. So, there is a scenario where the number one pick gets traded. Now, we've talked about the PBA and the existence of farm teams.
Right.
Right. So the way this works is that the teams that are really bad, they're not
Mhm.
as funded, even though there's a salary cap. Some teams in the PBA are not as well funded as some of the top. If
Mhm.
you look at the standings or the champions every year, you'll see who the best funded teams are in the PBA.
Right.
Now, you got those lesser teams that are there just because of the ad exposure.
Mhm.
These are the smaller teams that they're essentially tanking every year,
Right.
right? Not. I mean, I don't even know if they're doing it on purpose. They probably are, if you ask me.
Mhm.
But obviously, these teams are gonna get the higher picks.
Right.
These teams are gonna take the top three picks because they're not the good. So
Mhm.
there was a situation where these number one picks were traded, went to the horrible team, then
Right.
ended up going to a stronger team after a year or so.
Uh huh.
They ended up getting traded for scraps.
Right.
So these are essentially the farm teams that are doing that
Yeah.
because they're the ones getting these number one picks. Now the PBA has a rule now that you cannot draft. Sorry, you cannot trade the number one pick for 2 years
Wow.
after drafted. They had to make this rule because this is just getting blatant, right?
Mhm.
So it sucks. You end up drafting the best player in the draft, own as a bad team.
Right.
When the draft is supposed to make bad teams get better. That's what it's for, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what happens is they essentially that's what the reason why they're called farm teams is you're essentially planting a player in there, and then when the player blossoms, then when that player develops, when that player is ripe,
Yeah.
he gets picked by the stronger team, and that's how you end up with the parity issue in the PBA.
Yeah.
So they have this rule now where you cannot trade the first pick for 2 years. In this case, the
Yeah.
first pick is Gio Chu
Right.
from Ateneo, 6'10",
Yeah.
center.
Yep.
He went to I don't even know. He went to what the worst team in the league in this case. It's Terra Firma.
Terra Firma. Yeah.
This is actually Terra Firma is the, if I'm not mistaken, this used to be the Kia team. Yeah, it is.
Oh.
So Terra Firma, and this is how you know the PBA is cooked, right?
Yeah.
So Terra Firma used to be the team that the Kia, the car maker.
Yeah.
And
The
do you
Manny Pacquiao
remember?
team.
That's right. Do you remember the first draft pick of that team? They were an expansion team in 2014 and 2015.
Right.
Do you remember their first ever draft pick in the first round? I believe he was selected 7th or 9th.
Manny Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao, man. Manny
The
Pacquiao,
Pac-Man.
he was 30-something years old,
Yeah.
drafted by a professional basketball team in the first round as a playing coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a playing coach.
He wasn't even there because he was fighting.
Right.
He was only there for like a couple of games. I think he only played like 2-3 games
Right.
just for kicks.
So yeah, he was. I'm looking at it. Yeah. He was drafted in 2014 as the 11th pick overall.
There you go. How does that happen if you're a legitimate professional league?
Yeah.
How the hell does that happen? Why does that need to happen?
He was drafted. Kia passed on players like Juami Tiongson, Mike Gamboa, Frank Goya, and Gabe Banal.
Bro, Rome De La Rosa is one of the good players out there. He was
Rome De La
passed.
Rosa. Yeah. Rome De La Rosa. Yeah.
Hey, why does that happen, man? Why is something like that allowed
make
to
it
happen?
make sense, you know.
It doesn't. It's not gonna make sense.
Yeah.
You're drafting someone who's what, man? He's what, 5'7"?
5'7", yeah.
He's 5'5", bro. He's 5. Look, He's
Yeah.
5'5". He's technically not even 5'6".
Right.
That breaks the rule.
Yeah.
That breaks their height rule. He gets drafted in the first round for someone who's never had any basketball experience apart from the pickup games that he plays. It's insane, man. It's
It's
insane
insane.
how the PBA draft is so cooked. Then you have like look, Gio Chu is the first pick, so he went ahead of Juan Gomez de Leano and
Right.
Daf Panopio. Okay, so
Right.
we were saying that Daf Panopio is gonna be a top 3 pick. Gio Chu, look, no disrespect, but Gio Chu is not first pick material based on what we see
No.
in college, right?
No. No. He's a
Right.
project at best.
But the thing is, he's 6'10", and that's
He's
probably why he
6'10".
got picked first.
Yeah.
So, the team that picked him, this Terra Firma team,
Yeah.
is a farm team for the San Miguel Corporation teams.
Right.
This is the tinfoil hat theory right
Yeah.
here right now.
Mm.
So Terra Firma, who drafted Gio Chu 6'10", obviously as we said, he can't be traded for 2 years.
Right.
When he's eligible to get traded, he's probably going to either one of the San Miguel teams. So the San Miguel Corporation owns the Pure Foods team, the San
Right.
Miguel team,
Mm-hmm.
and the Ginebra San Miguel team.
Right.
So let's do the math here. Who's essentially the best player in the whole of those San Miguel teams? Those 3 teams that I mentioned. Who do you think is the best player?
Oh, and like the three San Miguel, the three San
who's
Miguel
you
teams.
think is the best player among those 3 teams that we just mentioned?
Junmar Fajardo.
There's only one player, Junmar Fajardo.
Junmar Fajardo,
Junmar
yeah.
is
Yeah.
he's 6'10". He's
Yeah.
the Kraken, right? He's one of
Yeah.
I think he's won like 7 MVPs or something crazy like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And he's usually dominating the league just
Right.
because of how huge he is. Oh, he
Mhm.
actually won 8 MVPs, man. Insane. The most MVPs
Man.
in league history.
Yeah.
6'11". Oh, we're definitely a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
But he's 35.
Mhm.
Junmar Fajardo is 35. And PBA players, and this is another weird thing that happens in the PBA. What's the usual age that NBA players retire at, bro?
36, 37,
Right. We got freaks like LeBron now going at 40, 41.
40,
We got
42, yeah.
KD 37,
KD.
38 going strong, right?
Yeah.
But those are specimens.
Yeah.
But before that happened, you got 40-year-olds playing in the PBA.
Bro.
Rafi Rivas was
We got
Rafi Rivas
we got-
just got released,
we got freaking Tito Sonny Jaworski back then playing at 50.
right?
Yeah.
So Rafi Rivas has been playing. He's 48 now.
48.
He's 48. He's been
Man,
playing. He
yeah.
actually played last year,
Right.
so he was playing at 47. Asi Taulava, I believe, did
Yeah.
a similar thing. And these are tall guys, all right?
Right.
6'10", 6
Yeah.
6'8", 6'10". These are centers, basically, in a league that's strapped for big men.
Right.
So Junmar is 35, and he's probably not going to be retired for another, I don't know, maybe 5 years at least.
Right.
Just in time for his heir apparent to take over.
Yeah.
Just in time for Gio Chu to actually develop.
To develop, yeah.
So this is my I think Gio Chu is eventually going to San Miguel Beer.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be traded there as soon as he's eligible, which is in 2 years
Yep.
from now,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to see him there. Which is,
Wow.
again, the fact that we can predict these things right now
Right.
is, I
Yeah.
believe, is sad.